In this video we're going to look at three-figure bearings. So I've got something here which says the bearing of B from A is 195 degrees. Show this on a diagram, clearly labeling A and B and the bearing. First thing, I always say where am I? The bearing of B from A. So this from here, this tells me exactly where I am from A. So I'm at A and I'm going to put it right in the middle of the page because I'm not sure where B is just yet. So here's A from A. So this means I'm at A. So there's A. Now to take a bearing, we always draw a line going directly north. So I'm going to label that with an arrow going directly north like that. And I'm going to put a little N on there just so that I know that that's my north line. Next, I always come from the north line anti-clockwise by how many degrees that is. Now I know that to here is 90, and to here is 180, and to here is 270. So I'm not going to draw this accurately, but roughly 195 needs to be here. So it's just a sketch. So that's all the way around 195 degrees. Let's just move A up there. So there's my A number. And the bearing is clockwise. So if I now fill this bearing in, that bearing there is 195 degrees, and I will get to B. So just the clear points here, from is where I'm at, I draw a line north from where I am and go clockwise on the bearing. Let's have a look at another question, but this one's going to ask me something slightly different. The bearing of Q from P is 0, 60 degrees. Now we always use three numbers. That's one thing that's very important. So if we're using 60 degrees, it's 0, 60. So let me think again. The bearing of Q from P. So I'm at P. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a P here in the middle of the page. Remember what I did next? I drew a line that went north. Nice little arrow. I then come around 60 degrees to Q, so roughly 60 degrees, and again it doesn't have to be accurate, 60 degrees is about that, and I go to Q, and let me just label that as 60 degrees. Okay, so I've drawn a diagram similar to the first one, and that's taken care of the first sentence. Find the bearing of P from Q. So for this one, I'm at Q, and I want to come back to P. So again, I draw a line that goes north. And I'm going to just draw in my bearing, which is all the way around like that. That's the bearing. So how am I going to work that out? Well, I use a clever thing here that these two lines that both go north are parallel. They've both got an arrow on their parallel. And if these two are parallel, the angle in here makes 180. So this angle is 120. So it makes use of this very clever fact of the north lines. And so my answer is going to be the whole circle, 360 degrees, take away 120. So my three-figure bearing is 240. Let's do one more example. The bearing of X from Y, so I'm at Y, is 142. So same thing, I'm at Y, I'm going to X. So let's draw this line going north again. There's my north line. Let me take my 142 bearing. So it's more than 90, but not as big as 180. So something like that. Let's label that 142 and label the endpoint X. Find the bearing of X, of Y, so rather, from X. So this time I'm here and I want to go back. So I draw my line north. My bearing has to be all the way around the circle like that. So that in there is my bearing. And I look at this 142 and these two add up to 180. So just to be doubly sure, I use my calculator to do 180 rather, minus 142, which will give me 38. Once I've got that, that means that this angle in here is 38 and my bearing is 360 take away 38, which is 322. And again, I could just check that on the calculator. So there's my 3-figure bearing. So the key points: think where you're from is where you're actually at. Draw a line north. Always draw a line north, and always remember that these two angles make 180 because of the parallel lines.